Mariner Books and HarperAudio present The Explorer's Gene: Why We Seek Big Challenges, New Flavors, and the Blank Spots on the Map, by Alex Hutchinson. Read by Michael David Axtell. A note before we begin: don't forget to download the accompanying enhancement PDF from your audiobook provider. It contains maps from the book. For Ella and Natalie, who sparked the questions in these pages. To say that we should not change wines is a heresy. The tongue becomes saturated, and after the third glass, even the best bottle yields but an obtuse sensation. Jean-Antoine Brillat-Savarin, Physiologie de Goût. Introduction. It's the single most iconic vista in all of Newfoundland, all the more prized because it's so hard to reach. By the time we clambered over the final set of boulders to get there, we'd been climbing for more than 6 hours, accompanied by clouds of voracious and seemingly waterproof black flies that were undeterred by the steadily falling rain. We turned to look back at the route we'd traveled. The sinuous, glacier-carved fjord 2,000 feet below us, the billion-year-old cliffs that hemmed it in, the jumble of rocks and rainforest that led steeply up to the plateau where we now stood. This view of Western Brook Pond is a staple of the island's glossy tourism campaigns. We've seen the pics, but on that particular day it was nothing but a blanket of mist. We didn't have time to linger anyway. It was nearly noon by the time the boat had dropped us off at the head of the fjord, then climbing up the gulch had taken twice as long as we'd anticipated. We were barely halfway to the alpine pond where we'd hoped to camp that night. As the mist thickened, finding landmarks was becoming increasingly difficult. Muddy game trails carved by the area's ubiquitous moose and caribou led in every direction through the boggy grass, frequently disappearing into sinkholes filled by several days of nonstop rain. No matter how often we stopped to orient ourselves, we were turned around again within minutes. I felt panic rising in me. We were already a day behind schedule because the waters of the fjord had been too choppy for the boat on our scheduled departure day. That had forced us to burn a day of food while camped by the dock waiting for our ride, leaving us with just 4 days to complete the hike instead of the planned 5. And while my wife, Lauren, and I were capable of hiking as long into the night as we needed to, we couldn't ask the same of our daughters, Ella and Natalie. They were just 8 and 6, respectively, and aside from being exhausted, they were being driven bonkers by the flies, despite their full-body bug suits. But there were no exits from this hike. No roads traverse this part of Newfoundland. The boat was gone, and so was our cell signal. The only way out was onward. In that moment of maximal uncertainty, a puzzling thought nagged at me. "You know," I said to Lauren, "this isn't bad planning or bad luck. It's exactly what we asked for." We've been backpacking and canoeing with our kids since they were a few months old and have put a lot of thought into the routes we choose. We want challenge and adventure, but also safety and pleasure and variety and natural beauty titrated each year to the kids' steadily expanding capabilities. They had already canoed in Algonquin Park, hiked in the Rockies, backpacked on the Bruce Peninsula. So when we planned our 2022 trip, we were looking for something with a twist, something that would feel like a voyage of discovery as much for Lauren and me as for the kids. We found the twist on Parks Canada's official website for Gros Morne National Park on Newfoundland's sparsely inhabited western coast. The park is a major tourist attraction, but like most such parks, the visitors generally stick to a few easily accessible places. What Bill Bryson wrote about U.S. national parks tends to be true around the world. 98% of visitors arrive by car, and 98% of those venture no more than 400 yards from their metallic wombs. In contrast, the long-range traverse, an unmarked and rugged backcountry route, according to the website, cuts across the park's interior.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?